completely closed call. So just wanted to remind you of that. There's no recording.
I'm the first person, black or white, who called attention to the fact that you were finding that there was the rate of people who were African Americans who were dying was 3 times that of white people. I don't carry around a stamp on my head saying progressive and I'm AOC, but I have more of a record of getting things done in the United States Congress than anybody you know. Let's get something.
What's up? This is Lamar. This is Political Media. Old Joe Biden. Old Joe with the shades and the pearly whites flashing. Your pal. I'm very curious about what Joe is going to do for black people. And I don't think I did a video on this, but a few weeks ago or a month ago, there was leaked audio and I never tackled it. I figured this would be a great time to tackle it, where Joe was chatting with some black folks, including Al Sharpton, discussing black folks trying to tell him, they're trying to tell him what black people need, but yet he's not really much of a listener when it comes to suggestions of what he should do for black people. He kind of feels like he already knows, which is odd because he was very instrumental in the crime bill and called black people super predators. So it's very odd. But one of the things I got from this video, or this audio rather, is I'm hearing Joe say a whole lot of the same. I'm hearing Joe say that his hands are tied as it relates to certain things. And one thing Trump has taught us, and I'm not a Trump fan by any stretch of the imagination. I want to make sure that's clear. However, he's proved something. Being outside of the political world and being a businessman, he proved something. Probably not the best businessman, but he proved something. That you can really, as the president, if you want something done, you can get it done. They have literally lied to us for years about what they're capable of as president. And Trump has proved that you got a lot more power than you say you got. And he's done that through executive orders. However, in this leaked audio that I'm going to play at the end of this video, Biden is saying that if he's not about to do what Trump did and do a lot of executive orders, because if an executive order is challenged by anyone to the point to where they say it's possibly something he can't do, he's going to back off of it. Why? Why is that? Because Joe Biden is an establishment politician. Good old boy. Come from old school of things where we got this nice constitution right here. We got this constitution created by slave owners that didn't have nothing to do with uplifting and helping the blacks. Nice constitution right here. I'm gonna do everything it's saying here, even though it's prohibitive, restrictive, and there's nothing really to help uplift the black community. And that's what they've always leaned on, this piece of paper. That's supposed to be a living document, mind you, that Obama said straight out to the Breakfast Club when he's on the Breakfast Club that this is supposed to be a living document that can be amended. However, you need a certain 3/4 of the Congress, I believe, to amend the Constitution, but most of those people in Congress are older white men that are establishment politicians, and they ain't got no interest in changing no Constitution, because to them, this document is law. Not only is it law, it's Bible. They swear by it. Just like people swear by the Bible, which is fine. I'm not gonna get it. That's a whole nother story altogether, a whole nother video. I'm not gonna get on it. These documents that were created so long ago, and they perhaps need to be updated, particularly the Constitution I'm talking about in this situation. I don't want no problem with the Christians. I'm sorry. I'm talking about the Constitution, all right? So, let's get back to this Constitution and Joe Biden. So Joe Biden is basically opting out before he even gets started, so he can say that I said I wasn't gonna follow the Constitution. So when it comes to things that black people need, he's not gonna be the one to give it to us. See, I'm definitely even more so with Ice Cube, because Ice Cube tried to hold his feet to the fire as he tried to hold Trump's feet to the fire by offering up the contract for Black America. which specifies specific things that black people need, right? And it was a step. While it may not have been every single thing, it was a step. But a lot of people were against it, like Roland Martin, because he wants him to follow protocol and go through establishment politicians in the black congressional black caucus, folk that don't get nothing done in Congress, that's been in Congress for decades. Politicians. So while Trump was willing to sit down, Trump's folks, and added 3 things into his platinum plan, Biden folk was like, no, let's wait until after we get elected before we start talking about any of that. Just like Biden is saying, Negroes, be quiet about this police reform stuff right now. We need to get these seats in Georgia, and maybe we'll talk about it after January 6th, maybe. My prediction, and I want to know what y'all's prediction is. My prediction, we're going to get absolutely black folks are going to get absolutely nothing out of Joe Biden. Because just think, what did Joe Biden do before he was vice president? For black people. I'll wait. I'll let y'all comment it. And I'll go back and look at the comments. And if you say some stuff that he did for black folks specifically, I'll say hooray. But I can't think of anything. He got cred, street cred, black cred. He got a seat at the table at the cookout because he became Obama's vice president. Nobody was going to vote for him. He's ran for president several times. He didn't get black support. Obama made him credible to black folk. And that was strategic for Obama because Obama needed a good old boy to even have a chance at winning the presidency. Because old white men ain't about to just vote for a Negro, mulatto, half black dude with a white mama and not have a backup plan. And that backup plan is when he get out of line too much, we got to get rid of him. And old Joe, old establishment Joe, pick up the pieces. That was the insurance policy. So that's why Joe got his black cred, not just by association. We just automatically assume, black folks just automatically assume that Joe was for us, and that ain't the case. He said horrible things about Obama when they ran. Horrible. People forget horrible things, deplorable even. But no, we just assume Joe is our guy. Joe's with the shades and flashing and pearly whites. Joe's our pal. Joe's our guy. Joe, come on with Joe. Joe's our pal. And Joe's not our pal. I hope he proves me wrong, but I truly, in my heart, feel like he's not going to do much, if anything, for black folks. And that's what I heard in that leaked audio. You listen to it, you might hear something different. Let me know what you hear. But I think I'm hearing that he's like, to the point where he's offended that people are even questioning him as though he knows already what's best for us. Old Joe. So the cat is out of the bag. We know, because Trump has proved that there's a whole lot you can get done with executive order and without. In order to overturn those, it's a process. It's not just, oh, nope, we don't like that executive order. Nope, you got to go to court. There's stuff that has to happen. There's a process to it. So Trump knows that. Trump probably sat in there and said, hey, okay, so what can I do? What's the extent of my power? And they said, well, you can do this, this, and this. Well, if I want to do this, what can they do to stop it? Well, nothing they can do to stop it up front, but they can take you to court, drag you in out of court for about 6 or 7 months and get it reversed. Oh, so this thing I want to do, they can't stop it. I signed this executive order. It's going to happen. It's going to be in effect until they can go to court and get it overturned. And if I, so you say if I nominate justices that I want on the Supreme Court, that increases my chances of keeping this stuff from being overturned? You're saying that if I nominate enough federal judges, that helps my chances of keeping my stuff, or making my stuff law, or keeping my stuff in effect? You can say whatever you want about Trump's dealings and how he manages his businesses, but this fool was smart when it comes to getting stuff done. He got a lot done that he wanted to get done. Everything he said he wanted to get done, he got done. And he wasn't afraid to sway away from this whole establishment, good old boy traditions. Always about traditions, these traditions. Like Trump, like this inauguration and all this and the peaceful transition of power. Trump said, hey, that's a tradition. I ain't got to be involved with that mess. That's y'all ceremonial stuff y'all want to do to make yourself feel good and to raise money or whatever it is that you're doing. I ain't got time for it. I don't agree with it. I ain't doing it. And you know what? I'll probably be the same way. If I don't agree with the election and you trying to get me out and you running me through court and trying to sue me and all this stuff, I'll probably be saying, hey, when the last day I can legally be in this White House? All right, then that's when I'll be out. Thank you. I got my own U-Haul. I'll let you know when we're gone. Thank you very much. It is what it is. So Biden and other Democrats can no longer lie and say they can't get anything done, because it's absolutely not the truth. When we know better, we do better. And when we know better, we can hold their feet to the fire. The worst things that they could have done is allowed us to learn this process. And this year, these past 3-4 years with Trump in and all the chaos that's transpired, they've allowed us to learn way too much about the process. Way too much. Way too much. Check out the audio. Here we go. But before you check out the audio, check out this, no, not before, but also check out the Ice Cube video. So rewind once you finish watching the audio and check out what Ice Cube had to say. And comment below. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Matter of fact, go ahead and hit it right now. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, don't forget to I want to know what you guys think. Do you think Biden is going to do anything for the blacks? Peace out.
They've already labeled us as being defund the police. Anything we put forward in terms of the organizational structure to change policing, which I promise you will occur, promise you. Just think to yourself and give me advice whether we should do that before January 5th, because that's how they beat the living hell out of us across the country, saying that we're talking about defunding the police. We're not. We're talking about holding them accountable. Let's get something straight. You shouldn't be disappointed. What I've done so far is more than anybody else has done this far. Okay? Number one. Number two, I mean what I say when I say it. I mean what I say when I say it. I'm the only person who's ever run on 3 platforms that I was told could not possibly win the election, and I never ceased from it. One was on restoring the soul of this country because of what I saw happen in Charlottesville. That was it. No one else was talking about it. The words of presidents matter. Nobody else, no progressive, was talking about it.
This is a completely closed call, so just want to remind you of that. There's no recording.
I'm the first person, black or white, who called attention to the fact that you were finding that there was the rate of people who were African Americans who are dying was 3 times that of white people. I don't carry around a stamp on my head saying progressive and I'm AOC, but I have more of a record of getting things done in the United States Congress than anybody you know. Let's get something straight. You shouldn't be disappointed. What I've done so far is more than anybody else has done this far. Okay? Number one. Number two, I mean what I say when I say it. There's some things that I'm going to be able to do by executive order. I'm not going to hesitate to do it. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to do what used to, Benita, you probably used to get angry with me during the debates when you'd have some of the people you were supporting say, on day one, I'm going to executive order to do this. Not within the constitutional authority. I am not going to violate the Constitution. There is a Constitution. It's our only hope. Our only hope. And the way to deal with it is where I have executive authority, I will use it to undo every single damn thing this guy has done by executive authority. but I'm not going to exercise executive authority where it's questioned, where I can come along and say, I can do away with assault weapons. There's no executive authority to do away with that. And no one's fought harder to get rid of assault weapons than me. But you can't do it by executive order. If you do that, next guy comes along and says, well, guess what? By executive order, I'm going to say everybody can own machine guns again. So we got to be careful. I know you all know this. I know you know it. I don't think we should make that a big issue going into before January 5th when the election takes place down in Georgia. But I also don't think we should get too far ahead of ourselves on dealing with police reform in that, because they've already labeled us as being defund the police. Anything we put forward in terms of the organizational structure to change policing, which I promise you will occur, promise you. Just think to yourself and give me advice whether we should do that before January 5th, because that's how they beat the living hell out of us across the country.